The church air hangs heavy with shock and confusion as Emma, her white gown rustling like agitated dove's wings, turns abruptly and hurries towards her dressing room. The door closes behind her with a soft thud that echoes in the stunned silence. James stands frozen at the altar, his world narrowing to a singular point. The woman in the blue dress standing in the aisle. Their eyes lock, and suddenly, he's no longer in St. Andrew's Church. The scent of roses fades, replaced by the electric buzz of neon signs and the faint aroma of yakitori grilling in late-night food stalls. Tokyo, 3 years ago. A sleepless night in a cramped hostel room. James tosses and turns on the narrow bed, the sheets tangling around his legs. The air conditioning hums, failing to cool either the room or his racing thoughts. Emma hasn't returned his calls in days. His mind conjures worst-case scenarios. She's met someone else. She's decided the distance is too much. He can't bear it anymore. Throwing on a jacket, he steps out into the Tokyo night. The present intrudes for a moment. James blinks, sees the mystery woman's green eyes studying him intently. He swallows hard, his collar suddenly too tight. The memories surge back, as vivid as if they were happening now. Streets blur past as he walks, heedless of direction or time. Glittering towers loom overhead, their windows reflecting the moonlight like thousands of watching eyes. Eventually, he finds himself at Roppongi Crossing. The famous intersection pulses with life, even at this late hour, a circus of lights, sounds, and humanity. Giant video screens flicker overhead, bathing the crosswalk in ever-changing hues. Salarymen stumble from late-night bars, while clubbers in outrageous outfits line up at thumping nightclubs. It's a cacophony of life and energy that only highlights James's loneliness. He's about to cross when someone bumps into him. He turns, an apology on his lips, and finds himself staring into a pair of striking green eyes. In the present, James's breath catches. It's her. Undeniably, impossibly her. The same woman who now stands in the church, upending his perfect day. Tokyo again. The woman smiles, and James feels an immediate, inexplicable pull. They start talking, there in the middle of the bustling crossing. Her name is Sophia, she says. She's a traveler too, understanding the restlessness in his soul. Somehow, they end up in a tiny bar, tucked away in a narrow alley. The hours slip by unnoticed as they talk. About love, James confesses his fears about Emma, the distance stretching between them. About life, Sophia speaks of seizing moments, of the beauty found in impermanence. About the future, dreams and goals spill out, things James has never told anyone, not even Emma. As Sophia speaks, her eyes seem to hold all the wisdom of the world. James feels seen, understood in a way he never has before. A dangerous thought flits through his mind. What if? The church snaps back into focus. James realizes he's been staring at Sophia for what feels like an eternity. His heart races, guilt and confusion warring in his chest. How could he have forgotten that night? Why didn't he tell Emma? And how? How is Sophia here now? He becomes aware of movement around him. The best man and maid of honor are dashing towards Emma's dressing room, concern etched on their faces. Moments later, they return, looking slightly bewildered. James? The best man's voice sounds distant. Emma says, she says you two planned a surprise. We're supposed to tell everyone to move to the banquet hall while she gets ready to come out. James nods mechanically, not trusting his voice. As the wedding party begins to usher the murmuring guests out, he risks another glance at Sophia. She hasn't moved, her enigmatic smile unchanged, waiting. The maid of honor's voice cuts through his daze. Emma says she'll be out in a minute. She wants to talk to you. And her. She nods towards Sophia, confusion and a hint of suspicion in her eyes. James straightens his tie, a futile attempt to gather his composure. In a few moments, he'll face both women. the one he's promised to spend his life with, and the one who, for one night in Tokyo, made him question everything. As the last guests file out, leaving James alone with Sophia and his tumultuous thoughts, one question burns brighter than all others. What happens now?